Good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I will be taking you through the tackle trading website here this evening, letting you know where things are, when they are, where you can find them, maybe give you some ideas of how you can use it, whether you're brand new to us, and if you are, welcome, or if you're just checking us out and seeing what we're all about. Hopefully, by the time we're done here, you'll have a better understanding of who we are and what we are about. When I'm breaking down tackle trading, at least explaining it to people, I break it into three core areas. The things that you do on your own. That's going to be courses, blogs, our playbook, some of our different traders tools, things that you can do with others. That's going to be our daily shows, our weekly shows, etc. And lastly, our weekend reports, where each weekend we put together a newsletter, a stock, option, commodity, and forex report for our team. So we'll kind of come at it from that perspective. We'll just take it one step at a time. Very quickly, before we dive right into it, a couple of things. We do have a daily email. That is our tackle today that you're seeing right here. You can, if you would like to sign up for it, very easy to do. We also post our daily email in this blog format if you prefer to check it out that way. It will get to your inbox faster, but you can access that daily email directly here in the tackle today. You'll also find the Huddle podcast, relatively new. It's been a couple of months now. It's not that new. Daily podcast, very quick and non-biased. Top 5 stories of the day to keep you up to date. And if you're anything like me, I don't really love to follow the news, so I always kind of like the highlights, if you will, and then I'll dig into what catches my attention. Really nice listen. You can listen to it on all the major podcast providers. You can listen to it directly here if you smack this link, which will take you to the huddlepodcast.com. That is each market day for the Huddle podcast. All right, with that said, let's dive right into it. And let's kind of start with that first area, things that you can do on your own. Let's kind of start off with our courses. We do have several courses available to all of our pro members. Our 7-step guide to trading will kind of take you to, take you through the tackle trading way, if you will. We have I think a core philosophy, for all of us here on Team Tackle. We believe in starting at the top of the market and matching our strategy to our view of that market sector, the stock within that space. We're watch list traders, so we're finding and preparing and getting ready for trades, ideally before they happen. Which, of course, planning, placing, managing is all going to fit right into that. We're also big proponents of journaling. We'll talk a little bit more about that before we're done. But this short course, I think it kind of shows you the tackle trading way. And I don't think any two traders are alike, but it'll probably give you some ideas. It'll probably give you a good starting point if you're relatively new to the market and struggling with the daily routine and checklist, so to speak. If you're a veteran trader, I'm sure you already have a routine that you're fairly comfortable with, but maybe you can still a couple of ideas to enhance your already existing daily routine. So that's the 7-step guide to trading. Of course, we're traders, so charts are very important to us, whether we're day trading, swing trading, trading options, forex, stock, whatever. We're all using those charts. Technical Analysis 101 is going to focus, of course, on that. There's always room for us to improve as technicians. At least I've never met anybody that's always right, that's never wrong on charts. But the better we can be, I think the better we can be. So, if no matter what kind of trader you are, and whether or not you're new or, a grizzled veteran, I think there's definitely something to be learned in the technical analysis course. Options 101 is really going to focus on those option contracts, less so the strategies. And we'll talk about where you can find the strategies here in a few minutes. But we're really going to talk about what happens when you buy or sell that contract. What are the factors that are moving it? How does time impact it? Volatility, movement, all of that fun stuff. It's really important, in my opinion, at least, to understand the contract and the factors that move it. It's much different than a stock that if we buy it for 40 and sell it for 41, whether it's a minute from now, an hour from now, a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, it's $1. And that's very, very straightforward. But there's a lot of other factors going on with options that we do need to be aware of. And I think if we truly understand the contract, it's going to make trading, whatever strategy that we're trading, a lot easier on us. So that's going to be the options course. If you've ever been interested in learning more about the futures or the Forex markets, but not really known where to start, those markets can be a little bit intimidating to some folks, at least. They're leveraged markets. While in many, many ways they're very similar to the stock market, in other ways they're their own thing. And we need to understand, what we need to be looking out for, how all that leverage works. So if you've ever, been interested or at least kind of interested in futures or Forex, can be a great place to start to give you a helping hand as you get a little bit more familiar with those markets that are usually markets that folks don't start with. Nothing wrong with starting with them by any means, but I think most of the time folks start with stocks or options, or a combination of the two. Regardless of what you're trading, it is important that we have clearly defined rules and systems in place. I think we all agree with that. I've never met a trader that says, now you just YOLO and hope for the best, right? Even if it to the outside world, it looks like you're going crazy. You always like to think you have a plan, but it's one thing to think you have one and another thing to actually have one, right? And the system development course is designed to kind of get you thinking in terms of trading from a systems development perspective. It's an awesome course. I cannot suggest it enough. No matter what you like to trade and where you are, in your experience, I think there is a lot of good value to learn out of that system development course. So I would definitely encourage you to check that one out. Beyond our major courses, we do have a handful of premium systems. The Tackle 25, which is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year, with the idea of selling calls against those stocks. The STEP system, our swing trading system, standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Our cash flow condors, another cash flow system, this time on the Russell 2000 through selling credit spreads. And of course, the bear market survival guide, kind of protecting our long-term portfolio in bullish market conditions and getting real defensive when we get into bearish conditions as well. These are kind of one-time purchases. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of that team in a monthly mastermind group. If you're interested in any of those systems, you can head on over to the store tab. We actually still have just a few hours left of our 4th of July sale. I believe it ends when today ends. I think just about shy of 5 hours from now, where we do have all of our products, including those premium systems, discounted. We won't get too hung up on those, but if you do need a little more information, the store can be a great place to start. You can always send us an email to team@Tackle Trading. You can hop over into our clubhouse, which is kind of our own personal social media. Ask other members of Team Tackle what they think about those different systems. Don't hesitate to reach out. Not everything is going to be a course, right? We do regular blog content, whether it's more charting and tales of technician, more options and option theory, taking concepts kind of from the ground up and running with them with Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner, hearing from Em and our awesome women trader here. We have a tremendous team of female traders with us for sure here at Tackle Trading. These are going to be relatively short reads, but can be another way to share ideas, to teach concepts. Definitely worth incorporating into your routine. Over in the Trade Center, you're going to find quite a few things. You're going to find a link to our events calendar, which we'll circle back to before we're done, a link to our journals and our trading glossary, which I'll also show you how you can get those here in just a moment, as well as the Tackle Trading Playbook. This is where you're going to find all of our different option strategies and our rules for the strategies. We break our strategies into 3 core areas: Delta, Theta, and Vega, based off of the option Greeks. Delta is directional trade, so that's going to be buying stock, buying calls or puts, doing debit spreads. When you hear Delta, think movement. I think the stock's going from 40 to 45. How can I try to capture that movement? Right. Then we're going to have Theta, or our cash flow strategies. That's where we're selling the options and taking advantage of the one known, guaranteed known outcome. And that's that today is going to pass. Right. So that's going to be our covered calls, our naked puts, our credit spreads, our iron condors. We're selling it. We're bringing in that premium, and we're taking advantage of time decay. And then lastly, you're going to have the Vega, or the volatility playbook, where we don't have an opinion on the direction that the stock or whatever it is going to move, but we have an opinion on how volatilely it's going to move. So earnings season it's on us now, right? I mean, we're going to get some of those big financials this week. We are officially in earnings season, in my mind at least. I have no idea of knowing, what Tesla's earnings are going to be, right? But maybe I believe that based off of its history, it's going to move a lot one way or the other. Or maybe I believe that it's not going to move as much as the market maybe thinks it does. So these are going to be bidirectional trades like straddles and strangles and what have you. In all of these, you're going to have a video kind of going over, what the strategy is, why we would choose the strategy, our rules for the strategy. If you're using Think or Swim through TD Ameritrade, we will kind of have a little, how to place the order if you need a little bit of helping hand from that point of view. There's also just a little cheat sheet, downloadable PDF, so you can have easy access to those rules for any of those strategies that you're using. You probably noticed everything is something between a 0 and a plus or a -3. And again, we just want to match the strategy to our read of the situation. So, 0 would be flat neutral, right? Plus or -1 would be slightly bullish or slightly bearish. +2 or -2 would just be bullish or bearish. And +3 or -3 would be very or aggressively bullish or bearish. So, if I see a breakout and I think the stock's going to run 10, 12%, I'm going to want to build a trade that can capture that move, right? I'm probably going to be looking at a +2, +3 as opposed to a 0 or a +1. Am I going to be right? Only time will tell, right? But I do want to match that strategy to my read of the situation. And that's what this little 0 to 3 or -3 is kind of indicating where we see these different strategies on that spectrum. So that's going to be the tackle trading playbook. If you're new to options, take it one strategy at a time, right? Learn them one at a time. If you go directly into the Trade Center, this will bring you kind of to a What's Up at Tackle Trading page. There's going to be some different tools here. Our next show, our most recent post, our most recent tweet, our most recent report. There is a watch list function in here. If you do want to have a watch list built directly into Tackle Trading, so you don't always have to log into your brokerage account to check your watch list, I'm sure you'll be doing the bulk of your work there. But some folks do like the availability to have a, build a little, web-based watch list, if you will. Just throw in your symbol and hit the little plus button up there. If I want to get rid of it, just the same thing, symbol, and hit the little minus button. Some people really like that. Others don't even use it, and it's cool with me either way. The short calendar, the next couple of days, the next few events that we've got going on, there will be either a live showing of one of our YouTube streams, which we're seeing that right here, it looks like, as well as a replay. Typically, it'll be a replay, and usually it'll be the halftime report, but you can catch our streams over here in the Trade Center as well. If you're taking any courses, it'll let you know where you left off, so you can pick right back up where you started. There's also going to be several different tools and links in here. You'll find a link to tradingjustice.com. Each week, Matt, Mark, and Tim do the Trading Justice podcast. It's a very good listen. Definitely going to be a little more time, be a little busier than the Daily Huddle podcast, but they'll talk markets, they'll talk trading. It's a lot of fun. It's very informative. Definitely a good listen. There's also a very nice monthly newsletter over at tradingjustice.com that I would strongly encourage everyone to check out. It's always a really, really good read as well. That's just tradingjustice.com, or you can just smack this and it'll take you right over there. Our market Skyline is just where we kind of can get everything in one place, I guess. So we're going to have all of our major indexes and the charts for those indexes, all the major commodities, the different sector ETFs. These are things that I think as traders, especially if you adhere to the top down, start at the top of the market approach, we're going through these things on a daily basis to kind of generate ideas. Hey, where should we be focused? Where should we be shying away from, et cetera. Just, again, we'll be doing this in our own charting, but we did want to get it kind of all in one place so it can very easily work through the markets if that is more comfortable. There's a link to the FinViz heat maps here as well. That'll just take you to the heat map for the day on the S&P 500 over on finviz.com. Just a quick visual. Hey, what did any particular area stand out, whether it's from a bullish or bearish perspective today, to help us generate some ideas. You'll find a news aggregator in here that's going to go through several of the big name financial sites. As you can see here, CNBC, The Times, Wall Street Journal. I imagine Market Watch is probably somewhere down there. They usually are as well, just to kind of work through some of the headlines, and get them in an organized manner so I can kind of scroll down here and see if, is anything really catching my attention? Do I really want to read this? Mostly to save you a bunch of clicks, so you don't have to bounce around between 4 different websites and clicking this, clicking that. So just an easy way to access the news, a link to the economic calendar so we can see what's on the docket for today or for the week, another link to our report, which you'll also find up here and we'll talk about here in a few minutes. You'll find a link to the trade compounding gains calculator, a chart if you ever need one, a glossary, our search function, which you can also find up here in this little guy right here, magnifying glass. You'll also find another link to our trade journals. As we saw earlier, when we bring the drop down of the trade center, you can find them there as well. I always like to come to them through the trade center like we just did, though, because it takes you through the video tutorial of how to use it. And for me, I'm not much of a spreadsheet guy, so when I started incorporating this spreadsheet, I had to really change. I was a Word document trade journaler, and so I needed a helping hand. Not everybody's as bad at spreadsheets as me, thankfully. But if you need some help, this can really speed up that learning process. Fairly straightforward in the sense of we just need to tell it what we did and when we did it, and it's going to track the rest. Right, so it'll let us know how long we were in the trade, how long on average we're in a trade, what our average winning trade makes us, what our average losing trades cost us, our total win-loss percentage. The big one, what's our gross profits versus our gross losses, right? Journaling your trades is a critical part of trading, in my opinion, because every trade we make is data if we let it be. But the only way it's going to be data is if we actually track it as such, right? And so if you're not journaling your trades already, I would strongly encourage you to do so. I do 100% believe that big picture will make and save you money. If you come into the journals directly through the Trade Center like we did here, just scroll down a little bit, you'll find the download right there. We do have, in addition to our trade journal, we have our theta research tool where we can build and compare different cash flow strategies. Here's the one for covered calls. But if we scroll down a little bit more, then we'll have the naked puts. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, we're going to find the different credit spreads and so on and so forth. Again, once I select that tab, the download will just be right below it, as well as a portfolio journal to help keep us organized. You might have several trades. Some of them might have been going on for weeks or months or even years. And so it's just to help us keep organized. You can catch them, again, you can catch those journals in the down, in the little drop down. But if you come through the Trade Center like we just did here, the downloads are very easy to do as well. That's going to be our Trade Center, and that's going to kind of take us through that first part, kind of the things that you can do on your own, if you will. Let's kind of talk a little bit about the schedule and the things that you can do with others here at Tackle Trading. We did just recently, a week and a half ago, launch our trading labs. They are a premium product where we'll get together with a member of a team. We have, Coach Mark, Coach Emily, and Coach Tyler are all running trading labs of their own. They'll get together once a week in their power meeting. They've got exclusive discords. I've heard very, very good feedback. If you want any more information on any of those trading labs, again, the store can be a great place to start, or you can be sure to send us an email to team@tackletrading.com, and we'll be happy to get you some more information about those. For our pro members, we have our morning traders lounge every morning let me rephrase that. Every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, we get together in our traders lounge for an hour where we can sit down with members of our team live and answer any questions that they have. Whether it's, hey, I'm looking at this setup, what are folks' thoughts on it? Hey, I've really struggling with bull put spreads. Can you walk me through beginning to end of the trade? Hey, I've got this trade going on so and so. What are some ideas from a management perspective? Hey, I'm struggling with my daily routine, or my watch list, or whatever it might be. Whatever your questions might be, you're always welcome to bring them to us in that morning lounge. We're more than happy to answer them. That is what it's designed to do. No question is too basic nor advanced. So if you need some help, or if you just want to talk some trading, great place to start. You're always welcome in that morning traders lounge. That is the one show that we do not record because, quite honestly, no one's going to go and listen to the one from 6 months ago, right? But we do regularly record snippets, and we'll get them posted. And if your schedule is such that you just aren't available at 11 Eastern, Monday through Friday, mostly, your work, for example, or what have you, and you have a question, just let us know. Let us know in an email. Hey, I'm struggling with this. I could use some help, but I can't make it live to the lounge. It's not a huge deal for us to record that and get it placed for you in here. Just let us know. We're always happy to do our best to accommodate every member of our team. So that is the Traders Lounge every morning, every market morning at 11 Eastern. Shortly after the lounge, we head over to our YouTube channel where we do the Tackle Trading Halftime Report at 12:30 Eastern, live looking at the market, where we can kind of take that top-down approach and work through that daily routine. what's going on in the market today, how is it impacting our charts, stocks in the news, the different components of the market, the S&P, oil, gold, Bitcoin, kind of working through that each and every day, live on YouTube at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Of course, you know the deal on YouTube. If you can't make it live, it will post directly over to our channel as soon as the live stream is over. But every market day, we will be with our team in our lounge over here at Tackle Trading, and then heading over to our YouTube channel to do the halftime reports. We'll be, hanging out with our team and working the markets with you each and every day. Then we have our evening schedule for our pro members. Our flagship show, I would say, is the Coaches Show. That's on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That one is live, but it is also recorded and archived. So if you can't make it, or if it's just inconvenient, or if you need to watch it again, or if you want to watch an episode from a month ago, you can always find that information, just directly if you hop into the Coaches Show. We're a couple days. It's Tuesday night, right? We're a little bit into the market now. Can do an overview of the market and the market skyline, any particular areas standing out one way or another. But what I really, really love about the Coaches Show, I mean, I'm always interested in talking about that stuff. I think most traders are. But what I really like about the Coaches Show is it allows us to take, one of the many, many topics that are available to us in trading, right? And there's a ton, right? Whether indicators, setups, watch list, portfolio design, strategy selection, right? Trade management, stop loss placement. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. And what we can do in the Coaches Show after we finish up our market skyline is take one of those many, many concepts that's relevant to today's market and have an honest and open discussion about it in very, very good detail. I really enjoy the Coaches Show. I think you will as well. That is live on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Our Cash Flow Club is Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be a little bit more narrowly focused than the Coaches Show because, well, as the name would suggest, we're really focusing exclusively on those cash flow option strategies there. The covered calls, the credit spreads, the condors, the naked put, right? Building and managing those cash flow-based trades. Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Just like the Coaches Show, it is recorded and archived. You can watch as many back episodes as you would like. There's lots and lots of information in there for sure. I'm going to hop over to our events calendar for a minute because it helps me explain what I'm about to explain. So on Wednesday nights, we do a couple of different things. Over here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar, where a couple of the coaches will bring together some trade ideas, and we'll have usually Mark, but sometimes Coach Matt will be our moderator, where we just pitch our trade ideas, what we're seeing, what we like about it, the strategy that we would use, bounce it around with one another and members of our team. And at the end of it, someone is declared a winner. It's always a lot of fun. It's just really a way where we can get together with the team and, talk watch lists, right? Talk trade ideas with our teammates. Shortly after the Trade Masters webinar on YouTube, we do roll over into a trading lab, an evening trading lab where we can answer any questions. That's here at Tackle Trading, answer any questions that our team might have about anything that we talked about in there, or just more generally, maybe you just, need to ask some questions, but you can never make it to the morning lounge, right? We're happy to, we want to accommodate. So kind of a twofer on Wednesday nights. We have a tremendous team, as I brought up earlier, of female traders with us, and they'll get together about once a month. And as you can probably tell, I am not a woman in trading, but it tends to be towards the end of the month where they will get together in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. We'll make sure that we, promote it, let everybody know ahead of time. Once we get that scheduled and up and running, we'll get it here in the events calendar. I'm not exactly sure, because I don't get to go. But I do know the team, and I know that they're probably having a good time in that mastermind group. I imagine they're getting some good work done. So if you're a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, would definitely encourage you to get hooked up with the awesome ladies of Tackle Trading in their Women in Trading mastermind group. So kind of the way it works on Monday nights, I guess I'll just say that really quick. On Monday nights, we do, I do this onboarding webinar just to walk through anybody who's new to Tackle Trading, or check this out for the first time on Monday night. The way I kind of think about it is, the The Traders Lounge, the morning lounge, is where we can very specifically answer our team's questions. The halftime report is where we can go through the daily routine, and the evening shows are where we can do a little bit of teaching. And that's probably oversimplifying it a little bit, but it does kind of help me kind of keep it structured a little bit in my head. We also have a couple of Mind of a Traders. Coach Mark does. He does a Mind of a Trader at the closing bell on Fridays at 3 Eastern, an hour before the market closes. Coach Mark does our commodity report for us, and he presents it live in his Friday show. But he just, really just hangs out with the team and answers questions and bounces ideas around with other members of the team. Just another place to come in, talk stock, get some help if you need it. That's on Fridays at 3. And then usually on Sundays, because the market's usually open on Monday. Thankfully, I don't really like when my schedule gets messed up. So Coach Mark also does a weekend prep course at 8:30 Eastern. We're a few hours into the futures open now. Based off of that open, is anything standing out? Again, can be another place where, you can bring any questions that you have. So that is on Sunday nights. And again, you're welcome, to join as many or as few of our live shows as you would like, but do know that you are always welcome to join us in any of our live content. So that's kind of what the schedule looks like. And if you're ever struggling, you can click on the link. You can go into the events calendar. That's probably the easiest way, and say, hey, I'm ready to join whatever it is. A coach's show, it's Tuesday night. I'm going to click that. I'll get the information to get into the room. Probably the easiest way. But we do tend to be pretty regimented, unless there's holidays kind of throwing wrenches in our way. For the most part, you can expect our schedule to be very, very repetitive. The coach's show is always on Tuesdays. Our lounges every market morning, etc. So let's kind of shift gears now to that third and final component here, and that is going to be our weekend reports. So on Fridays, what we as coaches here at Tackle Trading do is we all get together and we talk about our watch list, how we're seeing the market, the different sectors, commodities, right, currencies, trades that we're eyeballing going in, trade setups that we're eyeballing going into the upcoming week. And out of that scouting report meeting comes our weekend reports, which we do refer to them collectively as the scouting reports. That's going to be our newsletter, stock, options, commodity, and Forex report. As I mentioned a little earlier, Coach Mark does our commodity report for us, where you can highlight what's going on in the world of commodities, what's going on technically, fundamentally, from a storyline perspective. Does a lot of, really, you'll get a lot of really good ideas. And even if you don't trade, in the futures market, there are a lot of things that we can do through the equities market to take advantage of commodity movement or lack thereof. Whether it's, ETFs like GLD, stocks that, kind of act as proxies. For example, FCX, kind of rolls with copper. There are a lot of things that we can do through stock or options to take advantage of movement in the commodity world. So if you're saying, I'm just not interested in commodities because I don't trade futures, well, fair enough if you don't trade futures, but there definitely are ways that we can take advantage of the movement of those markets. Coach Cody typically does the Forex report for us. He does a great job highlighting, what's on the upcoming schedule, the setups and patterns for the different major currency pairs, the economic, what to look out from the economic perspective. He also does a lot of teaching in there for folks that aren't Forex traders, but are maybe interested in it. He does a lot of teaching to help folks go from not trading to Forex to trading Forex. If that's of interest to you, definitely worth checking out. He does an awesome job over there. Our stock and options report are built fairly similar to one another in the sense that they're both, we're gonna have watch lists where we've got some technical setups. Of course, things in the stock report would be more for stock trades. It might be because of the price, it might be because of poor option liquidity. Whereas things in the options report, we could of course trade them with stock, but maybe due to their price, or maybe due to the liquidity of the options and how easy it is and how many different ways we could trade them, we find them to be a little bit more appealing from that point of view. But from a watch list point of view and kind of how we're building them, they are going to be very similar in the sense that we're going to highlight some technical setups, both from a bullish and potentially bearish perspective, and kind of let you know kind of through the video, which of course we'll always have a video going over this stuff with you, kind of, hey, why do we like this? What do we see in here? What I want, what might I want to see to get a signal for action. We'll also take an opportunity to do a little teaching. This week over in the option report, Coach Tyler talked a little bit about net delta. This week in the stock report, Coach Greg talked a little bit about building healthy habits. Was very, very good read. So we'll always take an opportunity to do a little bit of teaching, but we want to make sure that our team members and us, because we use them too, have curated watch lists going into each and every week with technically sound, repeatable patterns in the market. In the stock report, we can talk a little bit more technicals. In the option report, while the technicals are just as important, and we'll talk about them, don't get me wrong, but we are also going to need to talk a little bit about strategy selection, right? So there's going to be a little bit of difference in how they're presented, but we want to make sure that we and all the members on our team have a good, solid watch list going into each and every week. We use these trading view charts. You've probably seen them a few times as we've been scrolling through here tonight. If and again, you'll probably do the majority of your charting on whoever you do your charting with, but at least probably the first time you go through the report, you'll probably be looking at these trading view charts. There are a few things that I always like to kind of highlight for folks that might be using them. For example, if you smack the widget button here, that'll just hide the watch list. Smack it again, it'll bring it back so you can get a little bit more chart if you would like to do so. You have your trend line tool, which is this one right here, where you can either draw a trend, or whether it's an actual trend line, or if necessary a level of horizontal support or resistance. If you want to get rid of them, just left click them. That will bring up this guy, and just hit that trash bin and we'll get rid of that. We're going to be set up to a daily time frame as default. We're swing traders. That's usually where most swing traders start. We're certainly no different, but the little drop down right here will allow you to go intraday, whether it's 5, 15 minutes, hourly, 30 minutes, weekly, monthly. So you can change that time frame to whatever you need to do. Maybe you want to see if you can go intraday for a stop loss, for example. Of course, we're set up on candlesticks, but if for whatever reason you do prefer bar charts, you can easily switch that over to bar charts. The indicator button is going to be right here. It will not save. So, if I add, an indicator and then leave and come back tomorrow, that indicator will be gone. Just be aware before you add a bunch of indicators. If you use, multiple indicators, I usually just add the ATR personally, but you can add more if you need to move them. So the ATR, for example, is really big. And when I'm looking at an ATR, I'm just looking at the number. That's what I'm looking for. If you just highlight or hover your mouse over the, kind of wall between the volume and the indicator and hold your left mouse button down, you can, scroll it up or scroll it down as you see fit. Let's see. This thing right here is pretty handy, this prediction and measurement tool. This is where we can build out long or short trades. So for example, got a little pullback here on this stock. It's kind of testing this old resistance zone as a new support, kind of trying to fight the good fight, it looks like. So let's just say, for argument's sake, and just as of course an example, I want to prep a trade where I say, okay, I'm looking to get in if it takes out this little 2-day high, or maybe you like the idea of getting above that high from Thursday. And there's my potential entry. I'd have a stop loss set up down here at 63.20, and a target price that I've got in mind is $80, or approximately $80. It's going to let me see, what my risk to reward is. Hey, for every dollar I'm risking, I have an expected reward of $2.29. If I put together this exact trade here, maybe you don't like 80 as a target. Maybe you felt 75 was the target you were comfortable with. And well, you're risking $1 to get $1.32. Most swing traders, myself included, ask for at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio before making a trade. They say, well, I like the entry, but just the risk to reward's not there. Maybe you go in and you find the intraday to see if there's any intraday support that you'd feel comfortable using for a stop loss. But it is a really, really handy tool. It also helps you visualize the trade. So when I'm saying, hey, I think these guys can go to $80, what does that look like, right? Maybe I feel like, that's a little optimistic, or yeah, that feels, well within line of what, how they tend to move. So a very handy little tool. There's, of course, one on the bearish side if you're looking to do a short trade as well. But a few of these things are very, very helpful tools, at least in my opinion. I use these charts a lot personally, so I always like to kind of highlight a couple of ideas, a couple of really handy little tools in using them. Uh, Regardless, maybe you don't like those charts at all, and you'll just kind of grab the symbols that you like and put them in your own platform. That's cool as well. We do want to make sure you have some ideas. We can talk you through the technicals in the video. We can talk you through some strategy selection in the option report video. Just a fun way and hopefully a helpful way to save members of our team time from having to scour the markets each and every week. I love, scanning the markets. I scan early and often, especially on Fridays, going for my watch list and for the watch list for tackle trading. I love doing it and I have the time to do it, but I realize not everybody has either or both. So we do want to make sure you have some ideas going into each week. Our newsletter, and maybe I should have started here. Our newsletter is step one of the 7-step guide to trading. It's starting at the top of the market, taking that top-down approach. That's exactly what we're doing here in the newsletter each and every week. Talk about, hey, what's going on in the market? What are the storylines moving the market right now? The news headlines moving the market right now? What does the economic calendar look like coming into the upcoming week? Again, we'll always have a video on all of this stuff, talking you through it. Where is the S&P 500 and how do we see it? You've got the Dow Jones, got the NASDAQ, got the Russell. So kind of let you know where we're at with the major indexes. You will find the ETFs that track those indexes if you need them. DIA, of course, tracks the Dow Jones. QQQ tracks the NASDAQ, IWM the RUT, and SPY the S&P 500. So if you just wanted to trade the NASDAQ, QQQ is a viable way to do that. And all of these are very optionable, which is always a handy thing. You'll find the Arkham High indicator, which is Coach Gino's indicator that he's designed, that's going to look at the internals of the market. It looks at over 8,000 stocks to see, who's putting in new highs and lows to get a really good idea of the internals of the market. One of the, I don't want to use flaws, but just one of the nuances of, the indexes, for example, the S&P 500 is it's only 500 stocks or approximately 500 stocks, right? But they're also weighted by market cap. And so the big companies, the Googles, the Apples, the Amazons, right, the Facebooks, they can sometimes get a little bit, it can be a little skewed based off of their performance when we look at the index, just because of, just the nature of how those indexes are calculated. Nothing good or bad about it, just it is what it is, right? So this is just taking a look at the internals, taking a deeper look into, the overall market to see how healthy or weak we are looking. You'll find the seasonality chart in here. How do we tend to perform this time of year? From a historical perspective, historically the summer's pretty bland and back and forthy, but July does tend to be the strongest month during those summer months. Historically, the fourth quarter is very, very strong. All right. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen again, but we can use that historical data to help us in our decision-making processes. You will find our sector rankings each week. We're going to rank the sectors based off of the stocks that are in the sector ETFs. We use the sector spider ETFs, which again, you'll find just right down here. If you're not familiar with these, they're called the sector spiders. You can check them out at sectorspdr.com. That's the website to the ETF provider if you ever want to take a look at it. What they do is they'll go into the S&P 500. So XLRE, for example, just been killing it lately. This is the real estate ETF. We go into the S&P 500. We pull out just the real estate stocks. We put them into a portfolio. We weight it appropriately to keep it in line with the S&P. And that's what we're looking at here. XLC is the communications sector ETF. That's going to have your Googles and Facebooks and Netflixes and Disneys and Comcast, right? And Activision Blizzard, et cetera. So we're going in. Well, we're not. The ETF provider is going in, pulling out the stocks in that sector and getting them into one portfolio, so we can kind of take an isolated look at these different sectors. We rank based off of the sector spiders, right? We go through the stocks that are in those as we're doing our weekly rankings, and we'll adjust accordingly. We'll leave it alone. We'll downgrade it. We'll upgrade it. We'll downgrade it a lot. Maybe it broke a key support level, things like that. We can talk you through it in the video to help you kind of get a better idea of kind of where our heads are at. But as you can kind of see here, we'll also put it on a football field, between the 40s is, in neutral territory. You might have a slight bias one way or another. 1 or -1 would be, slightly bullish or bearish, 2 being bullish. When it comes to the threes, it's going to be very unlikely that you see us put an entire sector or entire index into +or-3 territory. We're just not that aggressive. That's not who we really are. While it's very common to have an individual stock at a +or -3, I really like this, or I really dislike this. When you're talking about a whole sector, for me at least, it's very, very, very difficult. I personally don't do that. It will be very, very unlikely and very rare that we at Tackle Trading will have any sector or market ranked that aggressively. But just kind of let you know how we're seeing the different sectors. We've got them broken into growth, cyclicals, and defensive. So you can kind of see, our growth areas: tech, discretionary, communications; our cyclicals, our financials, industrial, energy and materials; and our defensive: healthcare, staples, utility, and REITs. So we just want to make sure, when we're trading with the sector, right? Just go ask, tech lately, right? Tech's been tremendously strong lately. It's been a lot easier to be a bull, at least in tech, the last 3-4 weeks than utilities. It's just what's been happening in the market, right? So taking into account these sectors and their relative performance and relative strength or weakness and where they are technically really can make a big difference. You will find just a quick little write-up on the market cap, because again, these things are market cap weighted. Whether we're talking about the S&P or the the sector spider ETFs, it is important to understand that a little bit. A friendly reminder to match the strategy to your view of the situation. There is a pre-built scanner in here, so if any particular area has caught your attention, very easy. You could say financials have caught your eye today for whatever reason. You can, let's see if I can try that one more time. I think I might be logged out. Yep, there we go. Nope, there we go. Okay, so we're coming to a pre-built scan up here. If I just hit this charts button here, I could get these kind of, side by side. They go come up 3 on mine. It is a free FinViz, at least for me. So you do have to click a few ads, but very easily we can just kind of scroll through. And well, I could never make a chart. I could never make a trade off these tiny charts. I don't know if you could, but I wouldn't even try. I can kind of scroll through and see if anything is standing out technically, whether it's a little breakout that might have happened on TW here, maybe a double bottom happening on USB over here, certainly a potential breakout on SYF over here, and just kind of do a quick scroll. Hey, these things caught my attention. I can click on it, say SYF caught my eye here. I can take a closer look. Again, I wouldn't try to build a trade off this, but I can definitely take a closer look at it. If I like what I see, I'll go actually, chart it out in an actual charting platform. If I don't, no big deal, right? I'm just going to hit back to screener. That'll take me back to the screener page. Just an easy way to go through a lot of charts very, very quickly. Just a quick tip when it comes to scanning: make it jump out to you and don't jump out to it. One of the problems that we all can run into on scanning is we spend a lot of time doing it, but we don't find anything. Well, if I know I'm interested in this sector, for whatever my reasons are, I can just quickly scroll. I don't know what you're supposed to do with XP here. That's not my style of a trade. Maybe I'm just missing something, but that's not who I am. I'm not going to spend a second thinking about them, right? I like breakouts. I like higher highs and higher lows. I like consolidation. So when you're doing your scanning, have an idea of what you want and why you want it, and it should make that process a little smoother. At least I would hope so. We do have that for all of the different sectors, as you can see here, if you need to do a quick scan of the market. All of these are going to come to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to get through any or all of them before the market opens back up, typically on Monday. Don't be afraid to prioritize. I'll always suggest, I'm a big believer in starting at the top of the market. I will always suggest, no matter what else you're trading, to start with the newsletter, but ultimately that is up to you. But if you're primarily a Forex trader, that's probably going to be your next or your first stop, right? I'm primarily not a Forex trader. So while I always catch the Forex report, it's, I'm more of an option an equity trader. I like to I'm a directional swing trader, right? And so I tend to gravitate towards the stock and the options report. It doesn't matter, it's not my way or the highway, but don't be afraid to prioritize. I always tell folks, build your own tackle trading. We do a lot here, and we're always looking to exceed our team's expectations. We don't expect you to be in every show that we're doing. We invite you and we welcome you, of course. Know that you're always welcome. And we do have a lot of members of our team that I'll see, no matter what show it is, I see them, and then that's awesome. But we also have folks that, might have a little busier schedule or whatever. So don't be afraid to build your own tackle trading and have your priority areas. I always, call it a tether. Hey, this is my focus area. I can drift, but if I start to get feeling a little lost, just yank that tether, get me back to my foundation. Let's see here. We brought up the clubhouse, and you're always welcome to get in there and talk trading and ask for help. In our clubhouse, we're also active on the more traditional social media platforms. Obviously, we're on YouTube right now. We do our halftime report on YouTube. We have our Wednesday night trade masters webinar on YouTube. But in addition to our live streams that we do fairly, quite often on YouTube, we also have a lot of other content. We have a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of how-tos, a lot of what are's. We have an entire playlist on Thinkorswim tutorials. And we're always adding more. So if you're a YouTube user, and you might be, certainly would appreciate you subscribing, hitting that bell, and coming back to see us. Facebook. I'm not a Facebook user, but a lot of folks do like to use Facebook. We have a Facebook group for Team Tackle. You're certainly invited to join over there. I am a Twitter guy, and we're certainly active over on Twitter. I'm probably never going to get me to do Facebook, but you got me to do Twitter, and I certainly invite you to join us over on Twitter. We also have a presence over on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. Certainly invite you to join us on any of those platforms if you are using them. If you ever feeling lost, hung up, not sure where to go next, need something, never hesitate to send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. It's not a burden. That's what we're here for. We're happy to help. Just let us know. If you need some help, there's no shame in that. We all need some help sometimes, right? But you got to reach out. There's a lot of ways to do it, whether it's the lounge, the clubhouse, one of our many, many shows, send us an email, hitting me up on Twitter, talking stock over in the Facebook group. There's a lot of ways to bounce ideas and ask for help. Don't be afraid to do so. Everybody here is on the same page. And that's what I love about tackle trading. No, none of us are the exact same, but we all support each other. Hey, I want to see everybody make lots of money in the market. You making money in the market doesn't impact me at all, right? It's not a bad thing. And I think everybody here at Tackle Trading feels that way. So don't be afraid to lean on your teammates every now and then if you need some help, because, well, we all do sometimes. It has been my pleasure, and I hope this gave you a better idea of where things are, when you can expect them, and all of that fun stuff as we work through the site here this evening. I appreciate those of you who have caught it live, or those of you who caught it a little later in the week. It has been my pleasure. I hope it was helpful. I'll let you get out of here this evening. But just, I guess, a quick reminder, if you've been on the fence or taken a closer look, we still do have our sale, 4th of July sale going on for 4 hours and 14 minutes. Many of our products are discounted over there. So if you've ever thought about it, might be worth checking out in the next 4 hours and 14 minutes, because that sale does only come around once a year. But I'll leave that up to you, ladies and gentlemen. It has been my pleasure. I'll look forward to seeing you around. I have no doubt that this will not be goodbye. This will just be good night. I hope to see you in our shows, on our YouTube, over on Twitter, in the clubhouse, whatever it might be. I'm pretty sure I will see you in the not too distant future. But until then, thank you so much for your time. You have a wonderful evening, a great week, both in and out of the market. And I will look forward to seeing each and every one of you very, very soon. Good night, everyone.